The vast emptiness of space lit up with a soft blue glow as the Galactic Council's survey ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel. The ship, sleek and silver, moved silently through the darkness of an unknown solar system. Inside, alien researcher Tom, known to his people as T0M, stared at his scanning screens with all four of his eyes. "Captain, I'm picking up unusual readings from the third planet," Tom said, his thin fingers moving across the holographic display. "It appears to be inhabited by a technological species we haven't encountered before." The ship's captain floated over on his gravity disks, his green skin reflecting the blue light of the screens. "Interesting. Add it to the expansion database. Standard procedure." But Tom couldn't shake the feeling that something was different about this planet. The more he looked at the data, the more confused he became. The planet was covered in artificial satellites, many more than a developing civilization should have. And these satellites weren't just for communication or weather monitoring. "Captain," Tom called out again, his voice tighter than before. "These readings suggest defensive systems, military systems, but that's impossible for a pre-space civilization." The captain frowned. "Run a deeper scan." Before Tom could activate the detailed scanning protocols, every screen on the bridge flashed red. A message appeared, transmitted in perfect galactic standard language. "This is humanity's only delivery. We are DEDLI. Proceed with station." The bridge crew fell silent. Never in the history of the Galactic Council had a pre-space civilization detected their presence, let alone sent a message in their language. "How did they spot us?" the captain demanded. "We're using our best cloaking technology." Tom's hands flew over his console. "Sir, they have detection systems we've never seen before. They're tracking us through methods our scientists thought were impossible." The captain's skin shifted to a pale yellow, a sign of concern among his species. "Send all data to the Council. They need to see this." In the following hours, more Council ships arrived. They watched the blue-green planet from a safe distance, observing the beings called humans. What they saw puzzled them even more. These humans had spread across their entire planet, building vast cities and industrial complexes. They had modified their environment on a massive scale. But most disturbing of all, they had turned their whole planet into a fortress. "Look at these readings," Tom told the Council representatives who had arrived. "They have weapons platforms in orbit disguised as debris. Their satellites can transform into defensive systems. They've even built bases on their moon, all hidden from casual observation." The Council members dismissed his concerns. "They're still using primitive rocket technology," one said. "They haven't even colonized their own solar system. What threat could they pose to us?" Tom watched the planet through the ship's viewport, a sense of unease growing in his stomach. "With all respect, honored ones, I don't think we should ignore their warning. A species doesn't develop this level of defensive capability without a reason." But the Council members had already made up their minds. "We've encountered thousands of developing civilizations," another representative said. "They all try to appear stronger than they are. Prepare the diplomatic fleet. We will proceed with standard contact protocols." As Tom watched the diplomatic ships begin their approach to Earth, he couldn't help but feel they were making a terrible mistake. The humans had given them one clear warning. They had been direct and honest about their nature. And now, as he saw Earth's orbital defense systems beginning to power up, Tom realized they should have listened. Because sometimes, the simplest warnings are the most important ones to heed. The humans had told them exactly what they were: deadly. And soon, the Galactic Council would learn just how right they had been. The Galactic Council's assessment team arrived in Earth's solar system 3 days later. Their ship, twice the size of the first survey vessel, carried the best scientists from across the galaxy. Head Scientist Mark, designation MRK, stood at his research station, all 6 tentacles busy with different scanning devices. "Begin historical analysis," Mark ordered his team. I want to know everything about these humans." The alien computers worked quickly, secretly accessing Earth's internet and downloading thousands of years of human history. As the data came in, Mark's color changed from his normal blue to a worried purple. "This can't be right," he muttered, checking the readings again. "Show me their warfare history." The screens filled with images and videos of human conflicts. World wars, Cold Wars, civil wars, ancient battles. The list seemed endless. Unlike other species who fought only when they had to, humans had been fighting continuously throughout their entire history. "Sir," one of his assistants called out, "you need to see this data about their planet." Mark moved to another screen and felt his tentacles go stiff with shock. Earth was what the Council called a death world, a planet so dangerous that most species would never survive there. Powerful storms, earthquakes, volcanoes, extreme temperatures, and thousands of deadly creatures filled every corner of the planet. "They evolved on this?" Mark asked in disbelief. "No wonder they're so resilient." The team discovered more surprising facts. Humans were the only known species to have survived multiple mass extinction events. Their bodies could heal from incredible injuries. They could survive in almost any climate. They could eat foods that would kill other species. "Look at this," another scientist said. "They don't just survive on their death world. They thrive on it. They turn deadly animals into pets. They climb mountains for fun. They swim in their dangerous oceans for sport." Mark gathered all this information for the Council, but what worried him most was how humans approached problem solving. When other species faced a challenge, they looked for ways around it. Humans, they faced their problems head-on, often choosing the most difficult path just to prove they could do it. "Sir," his youngest researcher called out, "I found something interesting about their technology." The screen showed human weapons development. Unlike every other known species, humans had created weapons before they developed space travel. They had split the atom to make bombs before they had used it for power. They had developed cyber warfare before they had built their first space station. "They're backward," one council member said during the briefing. "They should have developed space travel first, then weapons if needed. That's the natural order." But Mark wasn't so sure. "With respect, honored ones, I don't think they're backward. I think they're different. They developed what they needed to survive on their death world." "And now?" "And now what?" asked the council leader. "And now they're ready for anything," Mark said quietly. "They've built their entire civilization expecting threats. They don't just have weapons, they have backup weapons and backups for their backups." The council members looked at each other nervously. One of them finally asked the question they were all thinking. "Should we proceed with contact?" Mark looked at his data one more time. He thought about everything they had learned, about human warfare, about their survival skills, about their strange and dangerous homeworld. He thought about their warning message, so simple and direct. "Honored ones," he said carefully, "I believe we should be very, very careful. These humans, they're not like anything we've seen before. They didn't warn us because they're afraid. They warned us because they know exactly what they're capable of." But the council had already made their decision. They would proceed with contact. And as Mark watched them leave, he couldn't help but wonder if they were about to make the biggest mistake in Galactic Council history. The diplomatic fleet of the Galactic Council moved toward Earth with complete confidence. 12 massive ships, each one carrying the most advanced technology in the known galaxy, approached the blue planet in perfect formation. Their golden hulls shone in the sunlight, designed to look impressive to the primitive humans below. "This is standard procedure," the fleet commander told his ships. "We've done this 1,000 times before. These humans may have some unusual defenses, but they're still a pre-space civilization." In the lead ship's observation room, Tom and Mark watched nervously. They had both tried to warn the council, but no one had listened. "Their orbital defenses are powering up," Tom reported, checking his screens. "They're sending another message." The message appeared on all their screens. This is your FFINAL warning. Retreat NNOW or FACs, the key and CQUENCs. The fleet commander laughed. Such drama from a primitive species. Continue approach. Activate our shield systems, though we won't need them. That's when everything went wrong. The first surprise came from what the aliens had thought was space junk. Pieces of old satellites and destroyed rockets suddenly came alive. Hidden thrusters fired, and these pieces of junk moved with impossible precision, surrounding the alien fleet. "Sir," one of the bridge officers called out, "we're detecting energy readings from everywhere." The second surprise was worse. The humans had somehow hidden weapons inside the moon's craters. Dozens of missile silos opened, their doors disguised as normal lunar rock. The alien fleet's sensors hadn't detected them because they were completely mechanical, no electronics until the moment they activated. "Impossible," the fleet commander whispered. "They shouldn't have this technology." The third surprise proved to be the deadliest. The humans didn't attack with energy weapons or advanced technology. Instead, they used simple physics. Thousands of small metal balls, released from hidden orbital platforms, now surrounded the alien fleet. They were simple weapons, just solid metal spheres. But they were positioned perfectly. Tactical analysis. The commander shouted, "What are they doing?" Mark's tentacles flew over his console. They're using gravity. The metal spheres are creating a web of gravitational forces. They're trying to. He never finished his sentence. The humans activated their trap. Each metal sphere began spinning rapidly, creating a complex gravitational field. The alien ships, caught in the middle, found their own artificial gravity systems fighting against this strange human weapon. "Our engines can't compensate," the engineering chief reported. "The gravitational forces are too complex." The fleet commander watched in horror as his perfect formation fell apart. Ship after ship lost control, their advanced systems useless against this primitive but brilliant tactic. The humans hadn't tried to destroy them. They had simply turned the aliens' own technology against them. "Full retreat," the commander ordered. "Get us out of here." But retreat wasn't easy. The human weapons had disrupted their faster-than-light dry systems. The mighty ships of the Galactic Council were forced to limp away like wounded animals. Their pride hurt more than their ships. As they retreated, Tom and Mark watched the blue planet grow smaller on their screens. The humans had won without destroying a single alien ship. They had simply shown the Council that they were not to be underestimated. "They were ready for us," Tom said quietly. "All those hidden weapons, the perfect trap. They've been preparing for aliens for a long time." Mark nodded. "And we ignored their warning. They told us they were deadly. They tried to be honest with us." On the main screen, one final message appeared from Earth. "No, you understand. Do not return unprepared." The Council ships continued their retreat, leaving behind a powerful lesson. Sometimes the most dangerous species aren't the ones with the most advanced technology. They're the ones smart enough to warn you about themselves. The Galactic Council's emergency meeting chamber was filled with worried voices. Hundreds of alien representatives gathered to discuss what had happened near Earth. The damaged ships had finally returned home, bringing with them a disturbing truth. They had severely underestimated the humans. Scientist Pete, designation PT, stood before the Council, presenting his findings. His metallic skin reflected the room's lights as he showed holographic images of Earth's defense systems. "Honored Council members," Pete began, "what we discovered about humans changes everything we thought we knew about developing civilizations." The room's screens lit up with images of human history. "Look at this pattern," Pete continued. "Every other species we know developed space travel first, then created weapons if they needed them. But humans, they're completely different." He showed them images of human weapons through history, from simple spears to nuclear bombs. They created weapons before they mastered space travel. They built defenses before they built colonies. They prepared for war before they even knew there were other species out there. An older council member raised his hand. But why? Why would they develop in such a strange way? Pete changed the display to show Earth itself, because their world taught them to be ready for anything. Most species evolve on safe planets. Humans evolved on a world that tried to kill them every day. They learned to expect danger before they could even speak. The screens now showed human military bases, hidden bunkers, and underwater facilities. We thought they were primitive because they haven't colonized their solar system yet. We were wrong. They haven't spread out because they've been building defenses instead. One of the council members who had survived the failed diplomatic mission spoke up. Those simple metal balls they used against us, how did they know they would work? Pete's metallic skin darkened, a sign of deep thought. That's what's most impressive. They didn't just build weapons. They studied us. Every time our ships came near Earth, they were learning about our technology. They figured out how our gravity systems worked just by watching us. The chamber filled with worried whispers. A species that could learn and adapt so quickly was dangerous indeed. There's more, Pete said, his voice serious. We found out why they're so good at fighting. On their planet, humans have over 10,000 different fighting styles. They turn anything into a weapon, even their own bodies. They study war like we study science. He showed them human martial arts competitions, boxing matches, and military training exercises. Look at how they practice fighting even during peacetime. They don't do it because they have to. They do it because they want to be ready. The council leader leaned forward. Are you saying they're naturally violent? Pete shook his head. No, that's what makes them more dangerous. They don't want to fight. They just expect that they'll have to. It's built into their thinking. They're the only species we found that prepares for threats that don't even exist yet. The room fell silent as Pete showed his final piece of evidence, Earth's entertainment. Movies, books, and games about alien invasions, cosmic wars, and humanity fighting against impossible odds. Look at these stories they tell themselves, Pete said quietly. They've been imagining meeting aliens for hundreds of years. And in most of their stories, they assume the aliens will be hostile. They'd been mentally preparing for this moment for generations. The council leader's skin had turned pale. So when they warned us, they were deadly. They weren't threatening us, Pete finished. They were trying to protect us from themselves. They know exactly what they're capable of, and they tried to warn us before we learned the hard way. As the council members looked at each other nervously, one truth became clear. They had awakened something unique in the galaxy, a species that had evolved to expect the worst and prepare for it. And now, humanity was wide awake. For the first time in human history, every nation on Earth worked together. The alien encounter had changed everything. Old enemies became allies, and former rivals shared their military secrets. Humanity had spent centuries fighting itself. Now it had a reason to unite. In a massive underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, the world's best scientists studied the damaged alien ship that hadn't escaped Earth's gravity trap. They had recovered it from orbit using special nets, careful not to destroy any of its advanced technology. It's amazing how simple their systems are once you understand them, said the lead engineer as he studied the alien engine. They built everything to be perfect, but they never thought about making it tough. Around the world, factories changed from making cars and phones to producing new weapons and defense systems. Humans took what they learned from the alien ship and mixed it with their own technology. They didn't copy the alien designs. They made them better. The aliens built their ships like luxury cars. One scientist explained to the World Defense Council, "We're building ours like tanks." In orbit, the space stations that had been hiding weapons now became open military bases. New satellites went up every week, each one stronger than the last. Humanity didn't try to hide its strength anymore. They wanted the aliens to see what they were building. The biggest surprise came from how fast humans learned. The alien ship used crystals for its computers, so human scientists made better crystals. The alien engines used gravity, so humans found ways to control gravity more precisely. In 3 months, they had learned more than they had in the last 50 years. "We're not just catching up to their technology," reported the head of the global science team. "We're making it our own. They use gravity drives to move smoothly through space. We're using gravity to make weapons they've never imagined." But the humans didn't just prepare their weapons. They also studied how the aliens thought and fought. The recovered ship's computer showed that aliens always followed the same battle plans, the same strategies they had used for thousands of years. "That's their weakness," said the military commander at a global defense meeting. "They fight like machines, always the same way. But humans, we're unpredictable. We change our plans. We make crazy decisions that somehow work." The aliens learned this lesson the hard way when they sent spy ships to watch Earth. Every time they thought they understood human defenses, everything changed. The weapons moved to new places. The strategies shifted. Nothing stayed the same. Some spy ships disappeared completely, caught in clever traps. Others found themselves being chased by small, fast Earth ships that seemed to appear from nowhere. The humans had turned their whole solar system into a maze of tricks and traps. "We're not just defending anymore," the World Defense Council announced. "We're showing them that we can fight back. We're showing them why we warned them about us." Then came humanity's boldest move. They took their first captured alien ship, now modified with human improvements, and sent it straight toward alien space. The message it carried was simple but clear. "You came to our home unprepared and ignored our warning. We showed you mercy by letting your ships retreat. Do not mistake mercy for weakness. We can now reach your worlds as easily as you reached ours. Remember our first warning. Humans are deadly. We do not want war, but we are ready for it." The message shocked the alien council. They had expected the humans to hide, to play defense. Instead, humanity had taken their technology, improved it, and sent it back as a warning. It was unprecedented. As the human ship hung in space near the alien borders, its very presence sent a clear message. The species that had evolved on a deadly world, that had survived countless disasters, that had warned others about its own dangerous nature, was now ready to prove exactly how deadly it could be. In the great library of the Galactic Council, alien researchers finally made a breakthrough. After months of studying Earth's transmissions, they had properly translated humanity's historical records. What they found changed everything they thought about humans. "Look at this," Tom said, showing his findings to the council. His 4 eyes were wide with amazement. "Humans don't just fight because they have to. They created thousands of different ways to fight, and they treat it like an art." The screen showed human martial arts from around their world. Kung Fu, karate, wrestling, boxing, and hundreds more. Each style was different, each one deadly in its own way. "But here's what's truly amazing," Tom continued. "They don't teach these fighting arts to make better warriors. They teach them to build better people. They talk about honor, respect, and self-control." Mark joined the presentation, adding his own discoveries. "And that's not all. Look at how they treat weapons." He showed images of human museums, where ancient weapons were displayed like works of art. They respect the tools of war while hoping they never need to use them. The council members watched in silence as Mark explained further. Every human child learns about war, not because they want war, but because they want to prevent it. They study their worst mistakes to avoid making them again. Pete stepped forward next, his metallic skin shimmering. "And we found something else in their entertainment. Yes, they make stories about fighting aliens, but they also make stories about becoming friends with aliens. They hope for peace even while they prepare for war." The council leader leaned forward. "Then why did they build so many weapons? Why did they focus on defense before space travel?" Tom showed them Earth's nature documentaries. "Because their whole world taught them to be ready. Look at their animals. Even their pets were once dangerous predators. Humans learned to turn enemies into friends, but they never forgot how to fight." The screens displayed human history again, but this time focusing on peace treaties, international cooperation, and space exploration. "See this pattern?" Mark asked. "When humans aren't fighting outside threats, they work to become better. They turn weapons into tools. They use military technology to explore space." "And look at this," Pete added, showing human medical technology. "They learned how to heal by studying how to harm. Their best medical tools came from understanding how bodies break. They turn everything they learn about fighting into something useful for peace." The council chamber fell silent as they watched humans helping each other after natural disasters, working together to solve global problems, and reaching out to space with hope rather than fear. "The warning they gave us," Tom said quietly, "it wasn't a threat. It was honest concern. They know how dangerous they can be, so they tried to warn us. They didn't want to hurt us." Mark nodded. "They're like their planet's top predators. They don't want to fight, but they're very good at it when they must. They would rather make friends than enemies." The council leader stood up, looking at the images of Earth. "So when they said, 'Humans are deadly,' they were telling us to be careful," Pete finished. "Not just of them, but for us. They knew we might force them to fight, and they knew they would win. The warning was an attempt to prevent violence, not threaten it." On the main screen, a simple human phrase appeared from their historical records. "The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting." The aliens finally understood. Humans weren't just deadly because they could fight well. They were deadly because they had learned to master violence without being mastered by it. They had turned their deadly nature into a shield for peace, not a sword for war. As the council members looked at each other, they realized their biggest mistake. They had assumed that being deadly meant being violent. Humans had proved that being deadly could also mean being wise enough to avoid using that deadliness at all. 1 year after the first contact, the Galactic Council's largest ship approached Earth's solar system. This time, they came openly, with their weapons powered down and their intentions clear. They had learned their lesson. As the ship neared Earth's orbit, they followed the new approach protocol that humans had established. They stopped at the designated checkpoint, waited for permission, and transmitted their peaceful intentions in both human and galactic languages. The response from Earth came quickly. "Permission granted. Follow the guided path. Welcome to Earth." Small human ships appeared and escorted the council vessel through Earth's defense network. The alien leaders watched in amazement as hidden weapon platforms powered down to let them pass. What they had once thought was primitive technology now looked far more advanced than they had imagined. "Look at how they've improved," Tom whispered to Mark as they stood on the council ship's bridge. "They've taken our technology and made it better in just 1 year." The human space station where they docked was a perfect mix of strength and welcome. Armed guards stood next to smiling diplomats. Defense systems remained active but unthreatening. Everything about the humans showed they were ready for either peace or war. In the station's great meeting hall, representatives from Earth met with the Galactic Council. The room was circular, with everyone seated as equals. Above them, the Earth could be seen through a massive window, its surface peaceful despite its deadly defenses. The council leader spoke first. "We owe humanity an apology. You warned us fairly about your nature, and we ignored you. We have come to make things right." The human leader, chosen to represent all Earth's nations, nodded. "We accept your apology. We didn't want to prove our warning true, but you left us no choice. We understand now." The council leader continued. "You called yourselves deadly not as a threat, but as a caution. You tried to prevent conflict before it began." "Yes," the human leader agreed. "On our world, the most dangerous creatures are often the most careful about using their strength. We learned this lesson from our own history." The council then made their official announcement. Earth would be classified as a do not invade planet, the highest protection status in the galaxy, but they offered more than just protection. "We would like to invite humanity to join the Galactic Council. The alien leader said, "Not just as members, but as military advisors. Your unique perspective on defense and combat could help protect peaceful species throughout the galaxy." The human representatives shared knowing looks. This was what they had hoped for, a chance to use their defensive knowledge to protect others, not just themselves. "We accept," the human leader said, "on one condition. We want to help establish a new galactic defense protocol, one that teaches species to respect each other's warnings and promotes peace through preparedness." The Council quickly agreed. In the following months, humanity began sharing their defensive knowledge with other worlds. They taught other species how to protect themselves without becoming aggressive, how to be strong without being threatening. Earth's warning became famous across the galaxy. Humans are deadly. But now everyone understood its true meaning. It wasn't a threat. It was a lesson about responsibility, about knowing your own strength and using it wisely. 1 year later, at a galactic ceremony celebrating Earth's full membership in the Council, the human representative gave a speech that summed up everything they had learned. The deadliest species isn't the one with the strongest weapons or the most advanced technology. It's the one wise enough to warn others of its power, skilled enough to use that power justly, and peaceful enough to hope it never has to use it at all. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Sometimes the most dangerous beings are the ones who try hardest to avoid proving how dangerous they really are.